Hey there, record loving friend. Brian here from Tokyo Record Style. On my morning live stream, just dropped the kid off a little early today. Hey there, Mark. Last, good to see you, buddy. Morning from Tokyo. Today got a little tiny bit of an early start because my son was recruited to join the debate team. He's going to be on the debate team from now on. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But he he was recruited specifically because he has a unique perspective in the school in that he's not a returnee. Both my kids go to these private schools and they're popular for returnees. Returnee, if you don't know what a returnee is basically a Japanese family that grew up overseas, and the kids maybe went to international school or local school wherever they were, and they've come back to Japan after living and growing up kind of abroad. So they don't quite fit into the Japanese school system, and they end up in these kind of they could go to international schools, but maybe they need to Japanize a little bit. I don't know. But there are these, it's kind of like not quite an international school, because international schools are actually like everything's taught in English. The faculty are all in English. You might or might not have a Japanese course that you have to take, like studying Japanese. Um, the community around the international schools are all very English centric, English speaking centric. When it's an inner, they're either like Anglified or Americanified. So, and the thing is that they can't get into the Japanese kids who graduate from international schools in Tokyo can't easily get into the Japanese universities. They have to go through like international programs at Japanese universities if they can even get into Japanese universities. And those international programs at like Waseda or Keio are very expensive, and it's insular. They don't really, they can never really integrate. So these schools are, they're popular for returnees because language is important, but it's not the most important thing. And they have, some of the kids who go to school there don't speak Japanese all that well. They spoke Japanese at home, but their kanji is behind, their Japanese writing is behind, and so, and then you have kids like my kids who never lived overseas and who have who don't have, who have one parent. So my kids have a unique thing. They just typically in a Japanese marriage where there's one international person, not always, but typically the non-Japanese person speaks Japanese. Oh shit, I forgot to fucking hit members. Okay, we're on the public stream. I'm sure we're on the public stream. Whoops, that's my bad. Okay, well, shall we just roll with that? I guess I can tell. I didn't mean to do that. It's supposed to be a member stream. That's okay. We'll roll with it. I just thought that. Let's see. Yeah, because I see some comments coming in. Okay. Well, then let me set this up just a little bit. I saw a comment. Let me stop. Actually, let me keep going and I'll get to a place where I can stop. So yeah, every day I do a daily live stream to a circle of friends, and it's groovy and it's friendly, and it's encouraging, and it's kind of this, I don't it's people who support my channel in some way, and who I hope derive value from the channel, in not just like by the content I provide, but like watching or seen something that they might be able to, maybe they're just like, maybe it's just like goodwill and nothing else, and they just want to like, hey, it seems like a good guy, I want to support the channel. And but it also might be, I'm trying to get something off the ground and I needed somebody to, it'll be interesting to follow this story and the trials and tribulations of another somebody who's out there putting themselves, in the public realm. So yeah, so and I cultivate this little community that we have online as best I can, and it's groovy. And today I forgot to hit the members only button. That's okay though. So it's just yeah. Hello. So I'll say, we have a really really engaged Discord. Forgive me, homies, but like we have a really really engaged Discord, and the people who are there are people who are either members of the YouTube channel, they're members of a Patreon thing that I do. They've come on the Tokyo Record Style tour, which I host this I host this tour where I drive around Tokyo and I take people to record stores and various cultural experiences, and kind of like one of these like Airbnb experiences. And or they're like hosting my website. I have a website, tokyorecordstyle.com, and one of my friend Jim, he's kind of a tech guy. He helps me, and my friend Caroline helps me with newsletters. And so everybody's just like, I want to see this thing succeed. And so they're just throwing spaghetti at my wall. And so, but anybody who wants to join can, and all you need to do to join is just to go to YouTube members and join, and you'll get access to a Discord where we have like a groovy group of homies hanging out who are all super super turned on. It's the cool kids. It's the very very cool kids. And we've got some people that are um very knowledgeable about their little world of music, and we have some young people who are bringing new ideas. In fact, I'll mention we have one very young newcomer who shared a record in the Discord yesterday from a company called Vinyl Moon, and it's a very interesting concept. Have you guys heard about Vinyl Moon? Just a quick tangent here. Vinyl Moon, I just discovered, is this very interesting concept and company of a, it's a guy, I think he has a name. It's like he's somewhat anonymous curator, CEO behind the thing, but it's a collective of, it's a community of people. You can see there's a lot of faces involved, but I think there's one guy at the head of it, and I think he's quite young bright entrepreneur, and he is a music maker, a taste maker, a curator. And what he does is he goes and he finds like indie artists out there on Bandcamp, out there in his community, I don't know, music that just interests him. Maybe it might not interest you, but he goes and he curates this music, and he compiles it into these mixed tapes basically. But rather than putting them on mixed tapes, he actually presses them to vinyl, and then he creates these really really imaginative artworks that are maybe done by him or maybe commissioned by other artists. But he puts together this and they're really, the artwork, the packaging is like I've never seen before. The package that our friend Raymond put out, the record that he shared on the Discord the other day, had it was like a video, it was a tribute, the graphic was like a tribute to a video game, and you stuck a coin, um like almost like plinko. There was like a little hole where you stuck a coin, and you could hear it go ding 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 ding, and then it came out on another part of the record cover, and you opened it up, and the idea is that you pull out every month. It's a subscription based thing, and every month you get this new record filled with like 20 new artists, kind of like yeah, they used to do it back in the day. I know, like what was the label, there was a Canadian label that did this, but it looks really groovy. And No, and we all got turned on to it in the Discord. So if you want to participate, you're most welcome to, and everybody's invited. Just come hang out and or DM me about it, and I can tell you more about it. So good to see whoops, Christopher Osta. Hello, I'm a Detroiter traveling solo in Tokyo this week. Just discovered your videos and I love them. Oh, thank you so much. I really want to see Tortoise tonight in Shinjuku, but it's sold out. Oh no. Is it hard to get in? Could be hard. Yeah, there's like a oh man, Tortoise is playing tonight. I think I saw that was on my radar. I'm sure it was going to be like $200 or maybe even like $250, and I'm putting all my $250 back into this thing, and so it's a very luxurious thing to go see a nice show. I would love to go see Tortoise. That would be amazing. But there's little ticket kiosks that you can get tickets and you can get online, I'm sure, but I don't really know all that well about it, but I've bought tickets that way before. I know a little place in Shibuya that I always used to go, but I'm sure there's a better option online. And I'm gonna say, so long as the website isn't also selling like hair and makeup products, it's probably fairly trustworthy. Um, Although I have seen some shady stuff out there, so be careful. But I doubt there will be like scalpers out front at the show. That's not a thing. And but maybe there might be a tickets at will call. Anyway, that's very cool. I hope you get to go. I hope you get to see Tortoise tonight. Christopher Osta, thanks for being here from Detroit. Yeah, man. If you got a time, then look me up. I'll send you a sticker. I've got Tokyo Record Style stickers, and I love to give them to friends and homies and people who come to visit Tokyo. They say have a nice play on them. There's the QR code. You can follow me on all the other places. So I have tokyo.record.style. Tokyo is a subdomain of record.style, if you know this subdomain stuff. And I also have tokyorecordstyle.com. So you can go to either one, they take you to the same place. Um, the vibe totally changes in the public space versus the private space. It totally changes. It's a whole different, I feel a lot more relaxed and at ease in the when I'm doing the streams to the homies. So yeah, I wasn't quite totally prepared for this, but I'm happy to be here. I don't mind doing this. DJ Trish in the house, what's up? Good to see you. Oh shit, Tortoise tonight. Is it only one night? Okay, I'm there Friday and this weekend. B, you should go. Yeah, I should go. I would love to go. I would kill. I mean, I need to get stuff down. I'm just too complacent, really, to go. I'm like, I can stream it. Like $250 is a lot of records. Um, it's also like a phone bill, a new pair of like Air Force Ones or whatever that my kid might need. It's like that kind of stuff. I got to see a lot of shows and I still go to shows sometimes, but Tortoise, it's like on the fence. It's like, it'd be great. It would be great if I didn't have a gajillion other things I had to do. Hodo official in the house. Um, if you Hodo official, dang it. Hodo official, click through Hodo's official or go. You won't be able to click through because I don't do the wrenches on here, which allows you to click through to people's things, but you'll be doing yourself a favor if you go search Hodo official on anywhere, I think, YouTube or Instagram, and then follow a link to Bandcamp. You will be rewarded with some wonderful music at the end of that search. I'm the Dead. Hello from Iceland. Cool, Iceland. I'd love to go to Iceland. Bucket list of places to go. I think Iceland, I have a feeling like Iceland and um like Japan have some like a rural Japan, maybe like Hokkaido. I feel like the onsen life feel like the hot spring life, the connection to the like the geothermal, um, life. I think there's a connection between like Brits and Japanese have a camaraderie about them that they're both like island nations. And but I think Iceland and maybe like I'm just spitballing here, but Hokkaido probably have a thing. Um, I played with basic tortoise members. Okay, cool, dude. Amazing. Serious? Well, I just one of our record style homies said that they found you guys Grasshopper is in the house. Grasshopper is a cool cat. You guys have been following his videos, I hope, on YouTube. If you haven't, be sure to go follow Grasshopper TV on YouTube. I think he's approaching, what are you approaching, Grass? Are you like uh yeah, you should. Grass is getting up. Grass is going to have a lot of followers. He's got great stage presence, great video, great like just cult of personality. He's a cool cat. He's been in the music making world for a long time, and I have a couple of records of his at my house. And one of our mutual friends found a CD of his in the wild, which is cool. What was it called? Help me out here. TV, something. It's not grass. What's the album called? I've already spaced it. I saw it on CD. I've never heard it. And but it's out there on streaming. You can also search for Grasshopper if you're keen to share the link, Grass. Sorry, I don't think you can actually share the links. But tell the people how to stereo vision. Go search for Grasshopper and stereo vision, and look for two speakers and a TV in between them, and Dready Grass sitting right in the front, and something about the guys who did Eric Rakim and yeah, Rocky Eric B and Rakim. Hold on, help me out here. It's been a while. Rakim and Eric, the guys who did photos for those guys back in the day, um, did the photo of Stereo Vision, which is kind of cool. Um, okay, well, so it's a stream of consciousness usually, and I'm just kind of like riff on ideas. Public Enemy, Eric B and Rakim, yeah. So thank you. Did the so it's a stream of consciousness, and I don't really like raise the bar too high for myself, and I try to get somewhere on it, and I try to just crack a chestnut open by the time I get to the end. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But one thing that I did on a previous stream, like a chestnut that I eventually got cracked by the end of the stream, was coming up with an idea called like something called like the Recathon. This was an idea I had for myself. Just came to me like last week, the Recathon. So I'm a motorcycle guy, and sometimes if you watch my videos, you'll see me zipping around Tokyo on a motorcycle, and I'll roll up on a record store and I'll be like, yo, here I am at the record store. Check it out. It's a really cool record shop. And I thought about, I wondered like how many record shops I could go to in a single day. And like and I thought maybe I could do 50. I probably could do 50, which is ambitious. I think I might like be very surprised that like 20 is impossibly hard, but I feel like I could do 50 in a day. And if I really cut them, made them really short, and here's a record shop, and maybe I could do 100. I don't know, but I thought that was just something that brainstorming and spitballing and conversation and stream of consciousness. Eventually, I got to that Recathon. That was the very last thought on a stream a couple of days ago. Oh, that would be cool. And then my homies are like, yeah, you should do that. I'd watch that. Let's do that. So that's kind of the nature of this stream. There's no real agenda, but um but yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. Hold on, let's see. Mark Glassman says, if you have to buy one record at every store you visit, yeah, that would get to be expensive. Maybe I'd do it like a recathon, like a telethon. It's like, come on, somebody, come on, donate. I got to get a record at this shop. That would be fun, actually. That's actually that adds another layer of complexity onto it, which sounds like fun if you had like a little if you could get a little production team behind it, you know. You could actually I wouldn't even need I don't need 100 more records, but then comes the problem of actually it's a good idea for this it's a good idea for the sidecar. But I don't think I could hit as many with the sidecar because you can't zip through all the traffic. Okay. So yesterday on yesterday's stream, I said that I wished to come here less blank because I often just roll up with as a completely blank slate and I just riff here. Sometimes with like truly like oh I don't even know where to start. But as I'm taking my kid to school and as I'm taking the kid to school, I'm kind of like just in the back of my head, my gears are turning and I'm thinking, oh, what did I listen to yesterday? What's on my agenda this weekend? What were the highlights of last few days? And I just kind of think, oh, I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that. And then, but sometimes I'm just, talking to my kids the whole time and I don't really have time to riff in my own head. So, but somebody very thoughtfully and kindly said, "Oh, you do good with a blank slate. Just go, it's serving you fine now. You should just keep going. No need to write an agenda every day." And I really took that to heart. That was very thoughtful. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, Hodo Hodo's here in Japan. Hodo Hodo and Grass and I should all we should all get we should all get together. Hodo Hodo says, I'll support the Recathon. Hey, James Farley in the house. Yes, Hodo Hodo. No, that's an interesting idea. What I was thinking is that like you could buy the record. You could give me, you know, you could give me the list of what you want, and maybe I could go find it. Anyway, but today, back to this blank slate thing. Today, I wrote some notes down. I've just again, like I wasn't expecting to be broadcasting to anybody but the homies, but I made just like a list of 10 things that I just thought I could riff on, and yeah, it comes back to music when it does, but it doesn't always come back to music. But you've seen these. I do them from time to time. But the first thing that I have written here, well, maybe I'll start with this. Yesterday, it was pouring rain. There was a typhoon that came to Japan, and I saw it was so severe that I saw people marking themselves as safe from the typhoon number 6. It was I did see some kind of hairy situations on the news, but it wasn't that bad of a typhoon, at least not here in Tokyo. Maybe elsewhere in Japan it was. Maybe down in Okinawa or Shikoku it was heavier. But here it was just a little bit of sideways rain and wind. But you never know. And forgive me if I'm misrepresenting it and there was like devastation that I'm just not attuned to yet. But I didn't want to. The reason that I'm here in the car is because my wife is at home getting ready, and she goes to work a little bit earlier than I do. And when she comes home at the end of her day every day, there's already little people there waiting for her. So she doesn't have any time in the day to have the house to herself. So if I can just live stream for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, she can have the house to herself for like 40 minutes in the morning while she watches the news and makes coffee and brushes her teeth and stuff. So it's just that's our routine, and that's why I'm here in the car, and that's why I just thought to use this time as a bit of a moment to just riff. And why did I bring that up? Oh, so yesterday I wasn't driving anywhere because the kids were out of school. Hey, Gary Harris, good to see you, buddy. Um, but I still wanted to do this obligatory daily live stream that I've made for myself. I've made it a practice. I've made it an obligation to come on every day. And we're at June. What are we? What's today? June 2nd, 3rd, 4th? I don't even know what today is. Um, and that's 5 months. We're in the 6th month. And at the end of the 6th month, I will have streamed nearly every day for 6 months. and that's a little accomplishment in itself. I'm pretty third here. Yeah, it's the fourth here. So at the end of this month, that will mark a 6 month, nearly daily stream. And I went from like, I might get up to like 1,000 videos this year if you do like this. And I know that they're kind of throwaway pieces, admittedly, but still, it's the art of broadcasting and the art of just putting oneself out there is you can't help just by, hey, Wyoming Dave, nice to see you, dude. You can't help but just, you know, evolve, for better or worse. I don't really know. I hope for better, but you can't help but evolve a bit at least. And Grass says, we look forward to your live streams, dude. Thank you, Grass. I appreciate it. Well, I mean, again, the idea here is like, if I can do this, then you can do this. And I'm throwing spaghetti at the wall myself. And so anyway, so yesterday I did do the obligatory stream, and I thought, oh God, what should I do today? I don't know what to do today. And I went to my bookshelf and I pulled out an Irving Penn book. Irving Penn being a really famous photographer from the 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s. He was just a great 20th century photographer who photographed a lot of those Vogue magazines that you love. And the Vogue covers, not that you per se love, but those very iconic black and white elegant ladies of the early 50s and 40s. And he just took such dignified portraiture, and I am a giant fan of Irving Penn. I know probably one or two of you guys are as well. And so it was great. I hadn't looked at that photo book. I have a nice collection of photo books, and I hadn't looked at that one in a long time. So I just brought it off the shelf and like talked about it, and we riffed on it for like 45 minutes, and I really enjoyed it. It was great to revisit that work. And because there was a nice story to it, because he started out doing one thing and it became another thing, and then he ended on another place. And he was such a uh artist, and he was such a striver of art. He was obsessed, right? And one of my favorite artists, John Baldessari, says, what does he say? He says, art takes three things. It's uh talent is cheap, and that's true. Everybody's talented. And so you got to accept that quickly. You're not so special, right? Talent is everywhere, and somebody with maybe a lot less talent than you is going to get a lot further ahead. So just accept that talent is cheap. I think that's what he means. Number two, you have to be obsessed, which you cannot will. And for the longest time, I was I was artistic, but I was faking obsession. I was not really obsessed. I wasn't that I was faking obsession. It was that I was willing obsession. I was willing it. I was wishing to be obsessed, and but wasn't. And I would still see people who were obsessed, and I'd be so jealous, not of their art, but of their obsession. Like, wow, I wish I could be as obsessed with photography as they are, as obsessed with, yoga or swimming or cycling or, whatever their obsession was, but art especially. And but I have to say, I think I've achieved obsession, because I wouldn't be on this very stream this morning if it weren't for obsession. So I think broadcasting or storytelling, or this synthesis hybrid mix of music, photography, moving storytelling, it's like somehow it's synergized into an obsession. And so talent is cheap. You have to be obsessed, which you cannot will, and right place at the right time. That's the third one. So Irving Penn, the book that I was looking at yesterday, he was just obsessed, and his book is just filled with his obsession for photography and his obsession for the perfect print. And it was really fun to riff on that yesterday. So I just wanted to say, like, I had a great time riffing on that yesterday. I had a great time yesterday on the Discord learning about the vinyl moon thing, which I just talked about. And Okay, a couple more just housekeeping things. This, and then I'm gonna maybe chew on a little something bigger, maybe. I've just, yeah, again, like my little chicken scratch here. But, and maybe we'll go to the next spot as we talk. Um, oh, cheers, Gary. Okay, he agrees with grass. Grasses looks forward to the live streams. Love how much you dug the guy's studio with the side windows. Yeah, man. Daylight studio, northern facing windows. So the two kind of housekeeping things that I was thinking about today, the um the record tour service is so fun. It's such a good time. And I really love to vicariously live through the discovery of Tokyo through new, passengers. It's really fun when they're just like, wow, what is that? Wow, what is that? And you're just like, right? Isn't that crazy? And so that it's a thrill for me, and it's a thrill from when if it's a thrill for them, it's especially a thrill for me. And I just it's like so great, It's like I really, really love doing it. And it's I'm getting more inquiries for it, and it's going well. So I'm going to keep doing it. And I think it's a little bit of a unique offering because I don't know if people can, not so many people can offer a very like a familiar face to a traveler, perhaps. I mean, yeah, you could hire a Japanese person and who would do an excellent and much better job, admittedly, than I could. But something about the familiarity of like maybe something a little bit from home. Perhaps, not that everybody who's come has been American or anything like that, but it's in fact not even, Western in the sense. I've had uh people from the East come as well. But I got this sidecar thing, right? And the sidecar project, I'm working on the sidecar, and um somebody said like, "Oh, I want to ride around the sidecar." And then I said, "Oh, I don't think I'm gonna do that. We're not gonna like offer sidecar. I'm not gonna drive anybody around in a sidecar. I could, but I'm not gonna like. It's too intense. It's like, the record tour thing is an all day thing. It's a half day or an all day thing. The sidecar thing is a flash in the pan. You wouldn't want to ride in a sidecar all day, and getting in and getting out and all of this. But something I just thought of this morning or a couple days ago was I should start doing motorcycle tours. And a guy wrote to me and said, "Oh, I love your streams where you do the 360 camera on the motorcycle. And I used to live in Japan a long time ago, and it's so great to see. And it's a great way to see the city. And it reminds me of, and I would love to come to Japan and go on a tour of, get a scooter and drive all around the city." And I was replying to the guy and saying, "Yeah, you should. And actually, you don't need a license to ride a vehicle under 50 cc's. So 50 cc scooters go impressively fast. And you don't I mean, my motorcycle, it's a motorcycle, but it's 250 cc. It's not like, some big hog. And it's plenty of bike to get around the city. I rarely wish I had a, 500 more cc's. In fact, it's so small. It's like it goes in and out of traffic, and I see people with much bigger bike that they get stuck behind cars, and I can just I can zip right up around, and I can park on the side of the road, in some little secret spot, and it's perfect. And I thought, how hard would it be to like invite motorcycle enthusiasts who want to come to Japan, who are motorcycle riders, and just give them a tour of the city and take them on the Rainbow Bridge loop and take them on the Bay Bridge loop. And and take them out, maybe record shops, maybe not, but like guided motorcycle city tours like in a video game, which is sounds like a blast to me. An even more niche market than record, record rats, but I bet you there's somebody out there, and I bet you it would be fun to go ride around, to zip around the city, not just ride around the city lost, like wondering which direction you're going, but to just take the lead and kind of like there's no wrong answers and get you back on track, and basically be like a support team and a pace car at the same time. That sounds like fun. And just like either buy a second bike for them to ride or rent one for them. So that was a fun little thing that I thought of yesterday. That would be maybe something I could put together, and another kind of unique offering. And for those more adventurous, it could be like motorcycle tours that go, maybe into Western Tokyo, to the mountains of Western Tokyo Prefecture, or maybe all the way out to Mount Fuji, or maybe all the way to the frickin' tip of Hokkaido. I don't know, but I just thought this record tour thing is going so well. Maybe I should offer motorcycle tours as well and explore the city through that angle. And maybe sidecars too. Maybe, like, I don't know. Like, I like guiding people around the city, and it's fun. I never imagined it could be as this fun. I mean, I'm always sort of guiding people, but when it's when you're kind of like when you're accountable, for a fee, and you want to give somebody a really nice experience, you kind of level up and it's groovy. So that was another nice thing that I kind of thought about. You need room to carry the records, exactly. Although yeah, you do. You need saddlebags, but there could be room. Okay. And then the other thing that I just like, housekeeping, that my, you could do this too. Kind of, if I can do this, you can do this too. Um, is that my record tour service? I put it on Google Businesses, and I got some ratings for it, and that's, I feel like that might drive some interest to it. Not that that's like I'm looking for more. I'm just trying to do all the things. I'm trying to check all the boxes. So that was a good one. And then I thought about, I went to Airbnb experiences yesterday, and I listed up, I'm not finished with it exactly yet, but I went through nearly all the processes of listing it as an Airbnb experience. So yeah, just kind of like working on it, chipping away at it. It's like, it's a what do they call it? Like a multi-channel, uh, you know, initiative or whatever. It's like uh Instagram and photography, it's motorcycles, music, it's like tour guiding, it's like, maybe it's t-shirts, there's a bit of t-shirts and merch, but maybe there's more of that. There's community, and yeah, it's a multi-channel, and now I've got all like these things, these little daily live streams, they're all downloaded onto my computer as MP4 files, and those could turn into podcasts. Tokyo Style Network, exactly. Um, yeah, I'm working on that. Okay. The other thing that I was gonna touch on. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm getting really attuned to all the various successful ish YouTubers who are broadcasting from Japan. There's a lot of people who are coming to Japan and making content about Japan and then going back to wherever they are. And maybe they're doing a little bit of a flash in the pan, zip around the country or zip around the city, and they're making, oh, my coffee shop that I visited, or my jazz listening bar, or the best anime, or the best museum, or the look, quick, here is the Inokashira line. That's the green train. I usually come and hang out here for about 15 minutes. And yeah, I live out here on the Inokashira line between Shibuya and Kichijoji. So anyway, the train's going by, so I have a nice little view here of the train. And I'm just hearing like the voices of about Japan. You know, I'm sure if you come to Japan, your feed instantly becomes filled with Japanese content. There's so much content, you know, being coming out of Japan. It's getting to be, it's not getting to be, it's way past like exhaustive. It's like they've killed it in a way, you know. It's been killed. It's like we're like, yeah, strangling a dead cat, or I don't know how to put it, but it's like exhausting. I don't really want to contribute to that all that much, but I'm just watching all these voices. I've been broadcast. I've been living in Japan for this many years. I've been doing this, and I'm a student, or this is my experience, or this is what I do, or I come here every month, or you know, I'm a digital nomad, or this is the only country where this happens. There's a lot of that kind of content out there. And I'm just kind of trying to find where I fit in to that world. I don't like struggle with it. I'm just thinking about it. And um one of the things that I saw today was a young girl who goes to Waseda University, who's who went to international school. She's Korean. She's lived in Japan her whole life. She's got one of these kind of like mixed up identities where she doesn't know exactly how to answer the question like, where are you from? And I've talked about how I kind of don't I I'm forever like a, you know, Wes Anderson loving, uh child of the 90s, you know, hipster, meta hipster, you know, proto punk hip, not proto, uh you know, I'm just like, I'll never not be that like product of America, of that era. But also now I've become something else. I've become this like identity that I didn't even know existed, and I didn't even really know I would feel like I would ever become a part of, and maybe even that replaces another kind of identity, or you know, I become like two things at the same time. And yeah, I that was the thing I wanted to touch on, but the way that I wanted to get there, that I'll come back to this identity idea, but like sarcasm. I've been talking about sarcasm a lot lately, and I've been I see so much of it on live streams, and I've been a critic of it, kind of like some live streams I watch. The sarcasm is so thick, I can barely take it. And um it just it it like as soon as the gates open, it's the very first thing is sarcasm. And then it goes, and then it's continually, it never ends, this sarcasm. It's the way that it's the whole mode of conversation. And something that I was thinking about after I've been having these thoughts about like, why is there so much sarcasm, like what in this live streaming space where we're on screen together, and we're like uncomfortable maybe talking to each other, and we're like have an audience, and it's like, oh, and how has sarcasm become the like mode of communication and uh comedy? Like and why do we just accept it, that like that's okay to like, oh, this thing is shit when actually you mean it's not shit, or this thing is good, or this thing used to, like, why do we, and anyway, sorry, I'm having a hard time articulating it, but what I it's been irking me. It's been really troubling troubling me a little bit, where it's like I can't, I want to hear the topics discussed. I want to hear the conversation. I want to hear the voices, but can't uh I can't get past the mode, right? And so, but then I had this kind of like epiphany a couple of days ago, that I thought, this is not about them. This is about me. This must be about me. I'm the one who can't stomach it anymore. And this sarcasm is like a language of love. This is a language of communication that I have lost, I think, in these 20 years I've lived in Japan. There's not really sarcasm in Japan. Sarcasm never really quite goes over all that well in Japan. And it's I want to say that Japanese comedy has to be clever. It has to be kind of, it can't simply be the opposite of something. It has to be sort of smart and clever and have it like double entendres, but it's also super, super stupid and slapstick and physical and just dumb. And so it's two things at the same time, but neither of them are sarcastic. I I think I realized that this is, if I were living, if I hadn't left the country, if I hadn't left America for 20 years, this would be my mode of communication too. And so I really am happy that I had this I like was able to, I think I'm able to reframe this, and that I need to accept that this is the way that it is, and not try to be irked to wish it was something else that I think it should be, by only having become accustomed and, what's the word? Not Japanified, but, acclimated to to a almost sarcasmless life. That's why it's so pronounced every time I see it, is because I don't live with it. And I know, 'cause I do use it. It's in me to use. And there's contexts where I can use it and it goes over well and it's funny and it serves its purpose. And there's other contexts where it doesn't work at all and it's not funny. And I realize, oh, okay. Not a great example, but one that relates to music, which is kind of funny. um, Sarcasm doesn't work. Universe can't stand it. Well, oh, Gary, fingers crossed for the Rainbow Train. Rainbow Train never came today. It didn't come. Oh shit, I still have more time to kill. I had to start early today, which is probably what threw me off. Um, Shoot, where should I go? I just need like about 10 more minutes. Yeah, no, I mean, I get that some people can't, I get that it's like that, some people like to have the little that some people have that edge about them and some people don't. They're kind of like sweetie pies, and some people are kind of, curmudgeon is their brand. I like that, I have a little bit of it. I don't have much of it. I'm the other way, I'm like, but I don't begrudge anybody for like having some one of these like more slightly more prickly personalities. And um it makes the world go round. But yeah, I'm gonna stop belly aching about the sarcasm, and I'm gonna start seeing it as a language of love, a language of friendship, a language of communication, and not as some jaded, uh, ill-willed, mean sort of thing. I agree with Grasshopper. Sarcasm precludes vulnerability. It's safe for the speaker, but it isn't honest somehow. Yeah, there's an artifice to it, I get, but it's also like an insecurity, right? It's like something that you almost have to not have pity on, but you have to understand that like I can't say I love you, so instead I have to, jab you in the shoulder, but really I want to say I love you. So I've been watching all this jabbing each other in the shoulder, and I'm like, why are they jabbing each other in the shoulder? It's so mean. Why do they keep doing that? Why is everybody why what is it? But now I just kind of had to step back and realize, wow, I think I've forgotten sarcasm. I've kind of forgotten it. It's not in my everyday. And I think that's as a result of living here. So I was kind of happy to find that little nugget the other day. I was like, oh, this isn't them. This is me. I'm the one who needs to adjust. So anyway, that was something that I was thinking about. Hey, Northern Revolutions, Rob in the house. What's up? Good to see you, buddy. Hold on. So Bryce says, yeah, AZ Bell says, I agree with Grass. Sarcasm precludes vulnerability. It's safe for the speaker, but it isn't honest somehow. Yeah, it's not honest because you can't be honest. The vulnerable can't. The insecure, sorry, not sorry, can't say I love you. Can't say their true, you know, warm, earnest heart because it's too wimpy or whatever, it's too wussy. So instead they got to be edgy. And don't, I'm not like, not take pity on them, but read the subtitles, Brian. You got to read the subtitles, dude. You're the pro at reading the subtitles. How come you can't read these subtitles? Yes, okay, I'm realizing I need to start becoming a better subtitle reader. That's my No, don't you think so, Bryce? Don't you think so? I mean, yeah. I mean, it takes all kinds. I'm just driving around the back streets. Grass spitting, grass spitting truths today. Hold on. Did he drop another one? I mean, I've been very well served in my life to be Pee Wee Herman in the motorcycle Hells Angels bar, you know, to just elbow my way into the place and to be like, oh shit, and to not judge and to, try to change my view and come to them rather than them come to me. And that's served me pretty well. Where are we going? I just need 5 more minutes. I'm This early start really threw me off today. Just driving through the neighborhoods of Suginami. I think, is there like a little park I can? There's no parking anywhere. The roads are so narrow. Space is such a premium. There's like nowhere to park. Everywhere you gotta pay. It's like Las Vegas. I think I can chill out here for a bit. Okay. So yeah, I guess maybe I lost touch a little bit. Love isn't weak. Yeah, I know. Love is strong. It's true. I agree. But yeah, everybody has a different way to say I love you. My kids can't say I love you. I don't think I could say I love you to my parents until I was, you know, until I could. Do you guys say I love you to your parents? Do your folks? I always I always notice that when I say, "Okay, love you, dad," or "Love you too," all right, love you too. if I say that, I have no problem or even thought about saying that in front of others. But if I say it in front of others, I see antennas go up. Like, oh, I wish maybe one or two people say, I wish my father told or my mother told me, I wish I had that relationship with my mother or father. I think because it's hard. It's not hard, but it shouldn't be hard, but I suppose it is for some. I'm over fear of honesty. Okay, so yeah, I've touched on everything I want to talk about. Oh, here was another thing that has to do with this connection of like identity and I'm gonna riff on language here for a bit. I tell all my friends and family I love them every time we part. I love you. I love you, Hodo Hodo, and I love you, Grass. I love you, Bryce, and I love you, Rob, and I love you, Eddie Perez in the house. I didn't see you. I love Bryce. I love Gary. I love you, Wyoming Dave. I love you, Mark Glassman. I love you, James Farley. I'm trying to look directly into the camera here. I love your breakfast, King of Leola. I didn't see your comment. Have you seen your knives yet? New Doug McCombs project. No, I haven't. Okay. That was for Bryce. I love you, Christopher Osta. Thanks for being. I love you. I am the dead. I love you, DJ Trish. Okay, I love you all. You know, um, Thank you for that. Yeah, I love you guys. There was that girl who does it's kind of like she does the chicken wing videos. She recently interviewed Paul McCartney, British girl. She's she she's like, this she's the unrequited love character. You've seen her before. She's like the Chicken Shack girl or something. And she's interviewing people and she's kind of pushy and bossy and she's kind of like a bit rude, but again, sarcastic, and that's her language, right? And she says it with kind of a funny love, I guess. And it is, and I should see it more as that. But she recently is on the red carpet somewhere, and she comes across Ethan Hawke. You guys seen this clip? And Ethan Hawke, she says, she says to Ethan Hawke, I'm a big fan and thanks, you look great. And she's like interviewing the celebrities, right? And she says to him, and he's kind of, like he's a bit of a poet and a bit of a Renaissance man, right? And he's a little bit unique among the Hollywood, folks. And she says, I'm gonna, I'm gonna butcher this. It's a word I forget. I haven't said it. I'm going to butcher this in a while. Um, she says, "What do you have to say about somebody who struggles with unrequited love?" And he says, the one who's loving is winning. The one who's loving is winning." And he says, "Does the sun ask the grass to be shined on? No, it just keeps on shining. And if you're a lover, then just keep shining," or something like this. He says something like this. And it evokes this notion of um um unconditional love, you know? And she's like taken aback by it and she says, "Oh, I love you." And he says, "I love you." And there was, and in his saying "I love," she was moved to say it, and he was maybe even caught off guard, and I don't know, but if you go watch it and you kind of look at it carefully, but he just gives it. He hesitates for a millisecond, but he gives it to her. And um what a gift to be able to just to say that to people and to receive it. Don't mean to get so, yeah, philosophical here, but it's a gift. It really is a gift. So I'm gonna, yeah, maybe it's my 5 month late New Year's resolution. Tell people I love you. Tell more people you love them. I do my best, but I should say it more, and I should say it more. Okay, well, oh, and here's the funny one. The last funny one. I'll end on this. There was some of these YouTuber folks who like talk about their experiences from Japan. A lot of it is like language stuff. It's like now that people can speak Japanese semi fluently, there's like comedy out there on YouTube, and there's like people talking about respecting the culture and speaking the language. And one of the most important things is like speaking the language, and um, got to get better at Japanese, and how rude is it if you live here and you don't speak Japanese. I kind of feel like I'm in a post um I've I'm in a post bilingual world. I feel like I've created myself in my own imagination, and I've made language moot almost as best I could. I struggled with like speaking Japanese and not speaking Japanese well enough, and this pissing contest that foreigners often have with each other about who can speak better and who's been here longer and who's more natural at learning the languages. And I through the process of some projects that I've been involved with, I've really given up on um getting hung up or feeling, insecurity about not speaking the language better. I'd like to speak the language better. I aspire to speak the language better, but I don't feel insecure or inferior or bad or guilty about not speaking it very well. And I don't suppose it's like a place that most people get to, but I don't know how I got here, but I just forced myself into this way of thinking. And I heard a little bit of the girl from Korea who's been living in Japan her whole life, who's this international mixed up person who she touched on it today a little bit, and she said that when she goes to international, she grew up in international schools in Japan, and they mix Japanese with with English, and I do that as well. And it's not that I do it in this kind of I do it in this very kind of calculated way. I'm very like privy to where we are in the percentage. Is this language 60% Japanese or 40% Japanese or 80% Japanese? Where are we on the scale? And I adjust to whatever language we need to for communication to flow very smoothly, because I can't ever get to 100% Japanese. So I don't kick myself for being able to only speak, 80% or 62% or 30% in some situations. I just get into the flow of whatever ratio we need, whatever mix we need to be, just for communication to be flowing seamlessly. And that's kind of a and she said this girl said, like, I struggled because I look Korean, but I'm not Japanese, but I speak Japanese because I grew up in Japanese schools, but I go to international school. It's all mixed up. And she just said finally, like, that's my identity. And like, I don't need to struggle with being one thing or another. My identity is being all mixed up. That's my identity, and that's my language. My language is the mixed up language that I have to speak to communicate. I was like, oh, hello, that's me too. Even though I don't look like it should be our language, it's our shared language, but that's my language too. And I had the funniest thought about it today. And I was thinking about, I had this way of communicating in Japan for the longest time. I communicated in Japan with, like, my friend made me feel so horrible about my pidgin Japanese 20 years ago. Shame on you, Rai. Rye made me feel so shitty about, as I was trying as hard as I could. And he was like he came to Japan and he'd studied Japanese for 7 years before he came here. And then I had been here, 1 year or 2 years, and he'd been here less, whatever it was. He got here and he's like, "How's your Japanese? Have you been here for 3 years and your Japanese is so shit?" And I was like, huh. He's like, "Dude, you're so insignificant because you don't, this is Japan. You got to respect the culture." And I was like, "Okay, okay, I got to try harder." And I just went around for years trying to prove myself to, you know, to speak Japanese. And then through the nature of this volunteer project that I started years ago, where I went to these really rural, really rural parts of Japan, and I'd meet these country kids, and they'd be like, "Hello," and I'd be like, "Konnichiwa, genki," and they were like, "Oh, bummer, he speaks Japanese." And they'd be like, "My name is Kotaro," and I'd be like, "Oh, Kotaro, yoroshiku onegaishimasu, hajimemashite, Brian desu." And they'd be like, "It's cool, but this was my chance to speak English with you." And then I thought I had the same encounter over and over and over and over and over. And Sea Fury, I love you. Good to see you, dude. Um, did I miss anything good? I'm not sure. Maybe not. But so as a result of doing this project and it really kind of something inside me changed, and I thought, oh, I need to speak. I need to start conversations in English. I always thought I should start every conversation in Japan in Japanese because it's Japan. But then through this work, I thought, oh wait, I should start conversations in English and then adjust to Japanese. But I should say hello. And when I leave, convenience store, instead of saying arigatou gozaimasu, I say thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu. I say both. I say arigatou gozaimasu and thank you so much. There's I don't know if there's like a sincerity that comes through one's native language, but I mean, when you leave a Indian restaurant and they say namaste, you're like, just like it feels so good, you know? It's so nice. Or you go to a Thai restaurant, sawadee, sawadee, sawadee kap. It's so nice. And so I say thank you and I say, "Hello, I'm Brian. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu." So I start these conversations in English, and this is the funny part. One relationship whose communication I really, really admire, which is kind of like my relationship with my wife, a little bit. This might sound horrible, is Han Solo and Chewbacca's. Han Solo and Chewbacca. Those guys don't speak the same language at all. And Han never has to speak Wookiee. And the Wook never has to speak English, and yet they can communicate with each other. I love Han Solo and Chewbacca's way of communication. They're post bilingual, and it's all about subtitles. It's all about intuition. Can I go this way? Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave you. Han and Chewie rule, right? All right, guys, that's the stream for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks to the homies, and thanks for anybody else who was hanging on. Appreciate it. Love you guys. I really do. I mean it. I mean it. I love you. I'm gonna have love for you today. I'm not just. It's not just a. It's not. What? It's not. It's. There's got to be a lyric for this. Come on. Second. It's not this Stevie Wonder. What? Who am I singing? Anyway. I mean it. I really mean it. Okay, we're stuck, right? You want to go that way, and I want to go this way. How do we do this? We are stuck. We are officially stuck. And you're the taxi driver. Do you want me to back out? You gonna go? Hold on, let me see. Maybe I can go. No, can't go here. Can I go here? I can go here. Here, give me a second. I'll go here. Just a second. I'll go here. Just a second. No, ちょっと待って、ちょっと待って、ちょっと待って. I'll go here. You can come through. No, I'm gonna go. Haha. Okay, guys. There's a Tokyo traffic jam. Streets are too narrow. Gonna sign off. Peace out. Same time, same place tomorrow. Join the Patreon if you want to. Join the YouTube members. We do this every day, every single day. If you like what you saw today, hey, maybe smash the like button. That would be super nice. Okay, those all right. See you on the next one, guys. Thanks, everybody.